Shalom, Shalom, Israel. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, saying, I want to give all praises to who the world calls God, and the name of his begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus, which his name is Yahweh Shai. So today's lesson is we're going to be speaking about what is murmuring, right? What is murmuring? We're gonna get a couple definitions real fast of what murmuring is and why you shouldn't murmur. Share my screen real fast. Right. So this is the definition of murmuring. It says murmuring is the act of speaking or making low, soft sounds that are typically indistinct or barely audible. It can also refer to the continuous sound created by a multitude of soft voices or noises. Murmuring can also be used as a verb to mean to complain about something that you disagree with or dislike, but not in a public way. So, that speaks for itself, meaning you're not going to, you don't speak to the person that you have a problem with, but you speak to another person about that person that you have a problem with. That's considered murmuring. Or when you stir a whole group of people to have them rise up against somebody, and those people didn't even have anything, they didn't have no problem with that person until you spoke that evil into their ear. That's considered murmuring, right? So let's go. Let's go to Proverbs 6 and 16 really fast. Let me remove this real quick. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 6 and 16. So it says, it says, these 6 things do what the Lord hate. Yes, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue. So we're going to go into account where there was a lying tongue. Let's go to Numbers chapter 13. I believe 30. Yes, 32. Make sure my screen is sharing. Yep. Okay, Numbers 13 and 32. Actually, let me start 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it. So like just to give a little insight of what happened before, was the people Moses commanded the people to basically search out the land. So they searched out the land. Some people came back. Some people came back and said basically, there was giants there, but hey, that land was very nice. It had matter of fact, let's read that real quick. So it says, verse 17, and Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, get you up this way southward and go up into the mountains and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be a wood therein or not, and be ye of good courage, and bring the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So he's basically saying, search out the land and be of good courage. Let us know everything about this land. Give us the ambition and give us make basically what he's saying is make us happy, make us want this land, make us get the courage to say this is our land. We finna take this. It's basically what he's saying. So it says, so they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rahab, as man come to Hamath, and they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. So it says, and they came onto the brook of Eshcol and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the fig trees. So, they seen the increase of the fruit. It was big. It was big enough for them to have to carry it between two staffs. It was very big. So it says, and they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. 40 days is a very spiritual number. Yahweh Shai fasted for 40 days. Moses fasted for 40 days. The children of Israel was in the wilderness for 40 years because of the 40 days. 40 is a very spiritual number, right? So it says, and they went and came, to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregations, and showed them the fruit of the land. So they was kind of hyped a little bit. They like, we just got this fruit. So they did exactly what Aaron told them, or what Moses told them to do, and they did it, and they brought back the fruit. And they said, it says, and they told him and said, we came unto the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it flowed with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. So the Lord already told them that it flows with milk and honey. The Lord already told them that. So Moses is telling them to search that, basically search that matter out. And they did, and they said, hey, the Lord was right. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. So obviously, or if you haven't known, the children of Anak is giants, basically. So it says, the Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. So that's where, you get that. That's where you get Caleb from. Caleb was courageous. He stood up. He said, hey, we're going to overtake it. We're going to overtake this land. The Lord said it's ours. We're going to overtake this land. He was of good courage. But hey, this is where that evil report comes in. This is where Proverbs 6 and 17. Let's go to it real fast just to refresh your memory. Let me pull up another tab. Proverbs 6. Just gonna pull it up on Bible Hub. Actually, Bible Gateway. Pull it up on Bible Gateway real quick. KJV. I'm trying to find KJV. Bear with me real quick. Now, of course, they hide the KJV version. Okay. Let me share my screen now. Come. So it says, So it says 6 and 16. It says these six. Let's go to 17. A lying tongue. This is the part where we're about to read. The lying tongue and hands that shed innocent blood, because it's essentially what that murmuring does is so there would be innocent and righteous people, and then there's evil people. When evil people get to murmuring, the righteous people get to kind of hearing what that murmuring is. Therefore, they follow the things of what that evil people do. So that's hands that shed innocent blood. You know, that's a form of that. So uh let's go back. Let's go back to Numbers chapter 13. So it says, and Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the man that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. Right? That's the evil report. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land though which we have going to search it, it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. So they lied and said that the land is eating up the inhabitants thereof. It says, and there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. So basically what they did was they basically brought righteous people into murmuring and turned them evil. So that was hands that shed innocent blood and a lying tongue. So let's go on to verse number 15 or 14. It says, and the congregation lifted up their voice. See that? And the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness? So now they're questioning God because of the murmurs, the evil report that was brought to them from the wicked people that searched. You know, even though the other people brought back the clusters, you know, they weren't of good courage. They weren't at all. It says, and wherefore hath the Lord brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt? And they said one to another, let us make a captain and let us return into Egypt. Now, what worse thing could you say in that moment? That's the worst thing that you could say in that moment. The worst thing. The Lord brought you out of the land of Egypt with a strong hand and put plagues on the Egyptians, killed the firstborns of the Egyptians, killed the animals of the Egyptians, smote the land with so many 10 plagues, did all these things to the Egyptians, and you said, let us make a captain and let us return into Egypt. And, you know, for those that doesn't know, don't think that this is the first time that they said anything like this. This is like probably the 8th time they said all this stuff. It's like probably like the 8th time they said, basically, we want to return back to Egypt. Matter of fact, let's go to that real quick. Numbers 11 and verse number 5. We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, as you were a slave, though. You were a slave, but you ate it freely. The cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic, but now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. So the Lord was feeding them with manna, with bread from heaven, and they weren't content with the bread from heaven. So they pretty much murmured against each other and said, we remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt, and that we did eat in Egypt freely. That's wicked. That's wicked. Right? So let's go back to 14. Actually, I believe that's right. So it says, and they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it, it is an exceeding Salakia. Yeah. So it says, and they spake unto the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it, it is an exceeding good land. If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into the land and give it to us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. So they said they are bread for us. Joshua said that, or Salakia. I believe Joshua and Caleb said that they are bread for us. You know, when you say they are bread for us, that means that's Gerber food. That's easy. That's they're nothing to us. But hey, but all the congregation stoned them with stones, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be? How long will it be ere they believe for all the signs which I have showed among them? I will smite them with pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they. So the Lord was wroth. He was very, very wroth. I mean, you brought them out of the land of Egypt. You fed them with bread. You what's this before? Yeah, you fed them with bread. You killed the Egyptians that was passing behind you. You watched them split the Red Sea. You sent quails. You sent quails because they murmured about the bread, and the quail, and the Lord put a plague on them. I mean, what more can you do? What more can you do? That's why murmuring is so bad. That's exactly why murmuring is so bad, right? So let's go back to Proverbs 6 and 16, or let's not 16, 6 and 18. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. That's kind of what they did. That was wicked imaginations. That was an evil report of what they did. Feet that be swift and run into mischief. So, matter of fact, this is let's go to let's hold this. So, in heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and run into mischief. Let's go to Numbers, I believe, the 20th chapter. I believe it's okay, so it's definitely not right. Salaki, bear with me. I think I'm looking over it. I believe I'm looking over it. Right. So here we are. Here we are right here. It says, and they get okay. So it says, and they Salakia. Let me go to 1. Now Korah, the son of Izar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peli, the sons of Reuben, took men. So as you can see, all these people took men. So okay, let me make sure my screen's still okay. So all these people took men, meaning those men had to be swift to run to mischief. Those men had to be murmuring against each other. Those men, this isn't just you kind of chilling and you're like, hey, come over here, and they all just gather together. No, this comes with murmuring. You have to murmur, and those people have to say, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, let me get them. Who does he think he is? And we're about to read that. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. So I mean, that's plain. That's plain. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron and said unto them, ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy. So he said, hey, we're all holy. We're all God's chosen people. Who do you think you are that you can, hey, we can do this too. What makes you better than us? Every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. So he said, what the hell makes you think that you're above the congregation of the Lord? He said, what makes you think you're above us? But guess what Moses did? And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. That's humble. That's meek right there. That's very humble. Didn't the Lord just say that he's about to kill them? He's about to he said, how long should I be with this? How long should I be with them, basically? How long will they mock me? Didn't the Lord just say that? Didn't he say, I will make out of Moses a great paraphrasing, a great Salakia, what did he say? Basically, I'll make out of Moses a great nation of people. Right. So what they did, so he said, and he spake unto Korah, and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him, even him whom he have chosen will he cause to come near unto him. Right. So basically what he's saying is he's going to show you, he's going to show who the Lord is dealing with. So he said, basically, I want everybody to come together, and we're going to show you, who the Lord is dealing with, right? So it says, for which cause both, Salakia, let me go down. Right? So it says, and Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. So remember, he brought them all together. He brought them all together, and he said, hey, we're going to see who he's dealing with. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, the God of the spirit of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will thou be wroth with all the congregation? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So, he goes to so like, let me skip down. So it says, if these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quickly into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder and was under them. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. And they and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. So that's what happens when you murmur. That is what happened when you murmur. And that's what happens when your feet is quick to run to mischief. You die with them. You die the same death as them. Right? So like you, and I kind of want to get that. I kind of want to get the account where Miriam and Aaron were murmuring against Moses. Um, just for the sake of time, I gotta pull this up. Salakia. No, this not. Pull this up. There it is, right here, verse 12. So let's view this chapter real quick. So it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman, right? Because Moses' wife was Ethiopian, and Miriam and Aaron spake against it. So it doesn't matter who you're speaking against. The Lord hears all things. That doesn't matter. It's not a small thing that the Lord can hear everything. It's the Lord. He hears everything. So what makes you do this? Hey, that's demons. That's straight out demons. So it says, and they, it says, and they have had Salakia, and they said, had the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Have not he spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. So they said the same exact thing, what we just read. So they basically said, hey, is the Lord not dealing with us too? Or is he only dealing with Moses? Not necessarily saying that as a question, but he's basically saying, they're saying that as a rhetorical question. They're saying, hey, the Lord is dealing with us too. So it says, now the man Moses was very meek above all men which were upon the face of the earth. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. So, hey, they said this in secretly, but the Lord said this publicly. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and in the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? So, hey, he cut them. He got on him. He said, hey, he said, what another prophet, I'll speak to them in a dream. I'll speak to them in a sign to where, they'll put some piece together. They'll understand it. Nah, but with Moses, I'm going to speak to him mouth to mouth. So he said, I'm speaking to Moses mouth to mouth. Who the hell do you think you are to even speak bad about Moses if I'm coming to him mouth to mouth? So it said, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So yeah, the Lord doesn't play when it comes to murmuring. He does not play when it comes to murmuring, right? So let me get this. I say probably two more, and I'm going to close out. Let's go to Proverbs 9 and verse number 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So, if you have a problem with murmuring, understand that the Lord has a problem with murmuring, right? Understand that you have to fear the Lord. You have to fear the Lord. Once you fear the Lord, you will understand, hey, I can't be doing that. Somebody will come up to you with a conversation that they just lust and they get off of their flesh. You say, hey, I don't want to speak to that. I don't want to speak about that. I don't want to get into that. Even if you got to tell him, I don't want to be murmuring. And rebuke him too. Why are you murmuring about somebody? Why are you talking about somebody? Go to him and speak to him to his face. You're a man and he's a man. Speak to his face. And this is what the sisters too. Don't just murmur. You at a feast day talking about some. I could have cooked this unleavened bread way better than her. I'm way better than her at cooking this. Teach her how to cook some unleavened bread. You had a feast day and you eating some lamb. She seasoned it, but he grilled it. And you saying I could have seasoned this, but teach her how to season the lamb. Don't go murmuring. Hey, the Lord is going to consume you. He's going to consume you as he did with everybody else. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Right? So let's go to let's go to 16:11. Salakia. Let's go to the book of Sirach. had these written. Right. So it says, Salakia. So it says, there is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, and another by much babbling becometh hateful. So there is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, right? So it's better if someone's speaking about some murmuring to just go ahead and zip your mouth. It's better to put your hand in front of your mouth than to speak, because hey, you are condemned by the words. Salakia. I don't want to misquote that precept, but paraphrasing greatly, you are condemned by your words, right? Because your words come from your heart. So whatever you say is coming from your heart. So therefore, you are condemned by your words. So it says, some man holdeth his tongue because he had not to answer, and some keep his silence, knowing his time. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunities, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. So there was, like you said, a babbler. They don't care. They don't care about. They just want to speak. Basically, they just want to open their mouth. Simple as that. They just want to open their mouth. So, like, I think it's another one on this. It's like, can't think of the precept right now. I believe it just slipped my mind. I believe that's Proverbs 10. Slakia, bear with me. Let's go to Proverbs 10. It's all in Proverbs, honestly. Salakia. It's all in Proverbs. I can't even. Yeah, that precept slipped my mind. Salakia. But hey, the story of today, the lesson of today is definitely don't murmur. The more you murmur, you're liable to get killed. The Lord is going to punish you with a plague that is not quenchable, that you cannot deal with by murmuring. Just running your mouth is going to be the death of you. Running your mouth is going to be the reason why you're going through so many plagues. Running your mouth is going to be the reason why you're digging yourself in a hole that you cannot pull yourself out of. So like you, that you can't pull yourself out of. You cannot murmur in Israel. You cannot. Salakia. Let's go to Proverbs 17. Let's go to Proverbs 17. Oh, wait, where's my Proverbs 17 and there it is. Even a fool, 17 and 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lip is esteemed a man of understanding. So that that speaks for itself. If all it takes is for you to just do this, just do this. When someone's speaking about something that's not in agreement of you, that's not agreement with this truth, that's not agreement with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, just do this. Or in other cases, you'll straight up tell them, "Hey, I don't partake in that. I don't partake in murmuring." Even if you got a quote, "Hey, you know what happened in Exodus when they did that?" Or even if you got, hey, go tell that to him. Hey, but I'm not gonna speak on that. I don't want to speak on that. I don't want to sin against God. I don't want plagues to come on me for me murmuring against someone, right? So that's all I got today. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh. I want to give all honors to the elect, the elect of Israel. I want to give all honors to the 12 tribes of Israel, everybody that's doing this work. Hey, this isn't easy, and we got to endure unto the end. Matter of fact, so like, I want to give one more precept. I got Salakia. Salakia. I gotta put this one last precept up. Acts 22 or Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God. So there's not going to be a brother or sister that just enters into the kingdom of God without trials and tribulations. So therefore, we have to exhort each other lest you get knocked out of the truth and the Lord consume you. So you have to your brothers and sisters in this truth. You have to speak to them. Hey, Shalom. Just checking on you today. How you been? I'm going through the weather. I'm going through it a little bit. You don't just, oh well, hey, I had a good day. All praise to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. I'm chilling. And, they just, yeah, I just lost my car, and you say, dang, I just filled my car up. I just put a full gallon of I just put a full tank inside of my car or inside of my truck. I'm good right now. And they say, we don't got nothing to eat. We kind of going low. You say, dang, I just had a steak today. I just grilled some steak. I just ate it all, man. Hey, Salakia. Salakia. No, you got to exhort your brothers and sisters in this truth, lest they fall out. And hey, if they fall, hey, what people don't understand is you're kind of acceptable for the blood of your brother or your sister that falls out of this truth, and you could have did something about it. That blood's gonna be on your hands. And hey, you got to answer to the Lord for that, because you could have helped them. If you would have helped them, they wouldn't have fell out of the truth. Now, obviously, it's up for us to work out our own salvation. Obviously, it's up for us to go back to the kingdom of God and praise Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, and understand who Yahushua is, what he came for, and understand what our purpose is of being dust and ashes on this earth. So, we know that. We definitely know that. But hey, if you could have helped your brother, your sister out, and you could have helped them out, there was a perfect opportunity for you to help them out. They say, man, I can't even make it to work. This is my last time. I'll get fired if I'm, if I don't make it again. I'll get fired. Hey, you got money, but you're saying, dang, that's crazy. You hit him with that's crazy. And he end up losing his job over something that you could have helped. And that's your brother. That's your brother. This isn't some Edomite, some Ishmaelite, some Canaanite, some this is your brother. This is an Israelite. This is your brother, and you're not helping him. Hey, you're gonna get consumed if he gets knocked out of the truth and he gets consumed, and you could have helped him. Hey, that blood, you're gonna have to answer for that. You're gonna have to answer for that. So we got to always exhort our brothers and sisters to continue in the faith, and that you cannot make it into the kingdom of heaven unless you go through much trial and tribulation. So through much trial and tribulation, people get knocked out of the truth. That's why you got to exhort your brother or exhort your sister. So, Salakia, I want to give all honors and glory and praises to Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.